Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome along to this week's Sofamanager Scottish Football Podcast and a special spooky Halloween edition at that. Spooky in that it could be worse than the rest of them before. So wait and see. On this week's show, we're of course going to be talking news. The Rangers manager sadly departed us last week and the circus has moved on. So we'll be talking about who could potentially replace him. Scotland have also started thinking about announcing a new squad. We're going to talk about that and a new home potentially. So listen in for more on that. And also because it's Halloween, we're going to be looking at our scariest footballing memories and some of the best costume ideas for our Scottish football talents. And of course, being a football show, we will cover the week's Premiership action along with the Championship. And we might even get onto a wee quiz about the social media following of Scottish teams and its stars. And because this week we've traded one pundit for another, sadly no John this week, we've got our Spanish expert Darren Gibson.
Hello, Paul.
Now things gone independiente over there.
Well, exactly. All those politics.
So very exciting. The Catalonian Super League will be nigh.
Anytime then.
Yeah, so you'll be rhyming off some Barcelona versus Levante and Valencia or something like that.
Girona.
Yes, a much smaller league. So it is of course Darren. Hello Darren.
Hello.
And I'm your host Paul Menzies. Things are good, Darren. Good to have you back on. Rue the day, John Brown. Rue the day. Of course, if you do enjoy the podcast, leave us a like and a subscribe. It helps us a lot. And thank you for your kind comments last week from our kind video listeners. I know it's easier to put mean comments on videos on the internet than it is to put nice things, so it's very much appreciated. And also be sure to check out all our social media channels at Sofamanager on Twitter, Instagram and Facebook. So enjoy! Right, first things first, Dan.
Yes.
Is the news.
The news.
So, first things first, Pedro Caixinha was sacked this week.
Yes.
After a 1-1 draw with Kilmarnock midweek. Much of a surprise to yourself?
No, I was glad to hear it, to be
honest.
Oh,
really?
Yeah, and I actually quite liked how Rangers done it. So it was like this emergency meeting. And it was like, right, we're going to get everybody together. And I think everybody thought, it might be a couple of days until we actually hear an announcement.
That was very fast.
It was straight away.
Yeah.
But from my point of view, I was actually quite glad they done it because I couldn't see Rangers going anywhere with Pedro. Mm-hmm. And to be honest, from the beginning I felt it wasn't the right appointment.
Yeah.
So
I think for me, I liked his enthusiasm.
He had that, but he never really talked much sense for
me.
me.
Yes, you could very much say blind enthusiasm at times, especially with his 1-1 comment for the cup game. And I do think Rangers are a better team this season. However, with the amount of spending,
that's how I feel.
There's a lot of that. So we're sad to see him go. A wee funny Instagram on our page with a wee clown nose. And
I liked that, I must say.
A little clown makeup.
That was a very good one.
It's one of my more creative efforts there. You should go and subscribe to that. 900 followers, so thank you for that too.
Getting there.
So with him gone,
lots
of potential replacements being bandied about out there. Billy Davis was the hot favourite midweek, and then it's kind of switched back and forward.
Yeah, there was rumours coming out that they had said they weren't interested in appointing him, actually.
I think for good reason.
Well, yeah.
He's never been that successful.
He's never really done much, really, apart from Championship in England, really.
Well, even that Nottingham Forest team was a bit up and down.
At
the time, really.
Yeah.
But hot favourite then on kind of Sunday, which is now, I think, off the table, Michel Pride the new fragrance from Belgian football. It does sound
Coming
very
soon.
much like that, yeah. Funny enough, he's a goalkeeper.
Yeah,
quite unusual.
I think that'll put them off, to be honest, after Pedro.
Goalkeeper coaches are usually terrible. Who else was a goalkeeping coach? I can't remember if it was Stubbs or something like that. I
think so, yeah.
So I think the Belgian fragrance is off the table.
Yeah, I can't see that happening.
Who would buy Belgian fragrance anyway?
I know, exactly.
It's Calvin Klein all the way.
Yeah, definitely.
Are they American?
I think
Klein.
so, yeah.
Could be German.
Might be, actually.
Should look
into
could
that.
Be
German, actually.
Are you a Hillfinger man? Or maybe a Ralph Lauren?
Usually a Manny, actually.
Oh, Manny.
Manny, yeah.
Sadio? Or,
yes.
Anyway.
Bit off subject.
Oh, the Halloween prediction was right. This is our worst show ever. So the front runner, obviously, at the moment is Derek McInnes.
Yeah.
Who we saw at the front page of the Press and Journal this week. next to an advert for Get Your Dream Job.
I hadn't heard of it.
So yeah,
that's a classic.
Aberdeen's newspaper maybe hinting at something there. Do you think he could be the right man to steady the ship at Rangers?
I think he would be the right man to bring in to steady the ship. In terms of, I think he could get the team to the next level in Scottish football. So I think he could get them above Aberdeen. I think we would see. I know exactly, yeah. Gutted there, Paul.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think I could see him doing that, and then I could also, I think if he came in, it wouldn't be seeing defeats against like Motherwell or Hibs or anything like that. I think it would be between them and Celtic again. So I think he would take them to the next level. But the only worry is, I think obviously it'd be good for a couple of years, but once they get back to a good level and competing against Celtic, I think he would struggle in Europe. That would be my only concern. So I think he'll do great in a Scottish front, but at a European front, I'm not so sure.
Well, that's the thing.
But I suppose if they get to a good place in the next couple of years, they could look for another manager. So.
He seems to know Scottish football very, very well, and he's very much built that Aberdeen team up to be the best of the rest. The best Premiership footballers out with Celtic, and then the best players from Aberdeen are Celtic players, essentially.
That's true.
So yeah, I think he'd be a good appointment. The only thing is it's going to be a lot of cash out the Rangers, because I think Sunderland were looking at 2 million in the summer.
Yeah, well, they've had to pay off obviously Pedro and that too, so with that, and now they're going to need to spend to get him in, so but hey ho.
I know. And it's interesting though, because Rangers just seem to demand this kind of culture of success, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I was pointing out, I can't remember who to, but someone in midweek, you know that kind of navy blue tie with a red diagonal stripe?
Yes, yeah.
They seem to take like a lot of pride in like putting that on, and there is a real culture of success, and I think a lot of people may be worried about losing that, considering everything that's happened to the club in the last 4 years or so. So you don't think anyone maybe like Ali McCoist or Alec McLeish, who I think he's kind of ruled himself out.
That was the only other one I had in my head. I don't think Ali McCoist or Barry Ferguson, any of them, I don't think, maybe as a coach, but not as the manager. No. Alex McLeish, I could see, yes, maybe to the end of the season, but out with that, I couldn't see him just coming in to be the manager from now on.
It's been out of the game for a wee while now.
Yeah. And I think McInnes would be the sort of man that would get the team going again. Like obviously it's going to be a bit of a change from with Pedro Caixinha, and you could even see at the weekend there with bringing back Kenny Miller, so on a wee bit of the Scottish blood, I suppose. Bringing a couple of them guys back in, it did give them a big boost in that game. So
that's one name that barely anyone has been putting into that is Graham Murty, a man who is unbelievable. See, if you talk amongst Rangers fans, such a popular
and
guy.
He's very popular, exactly. I heard at the game at the weekend there, like they were cheering his name, and I think a lot of fans are actually hoping he could get the job, but I'm not sure. Has he came out and said he's not interested in being the number one? Or
he said a lot of positive things in that, the Rangers job is probably the best job in British football, and so I think he wouldn't rule himself out of it.
Yeah.
But interestingly, he came out before the Hearts game at the weekend and he said it's all on the players. So no, he was very much removing himself.
That's interesting, yeah.
Quite right,
exactly. Yeah.
And he did miss the chance to stand alongside Stephen Gerrard
for
the youth team, who got pumped 4-1. Enjoying that sabbatical from the Development League for some reason.
Yeah.
So, interesting. I think, the Kenny Miller thing. Could he be player coach in the future? Who knows?
Maybe.
Who knows? That the door's sneaking back open there. So it's a bit of a shame. I think he's not being mentioned because he's done a huge service to the club.
Oh, he has. Yeah.
Run them for quite a sizable spell as a caretaker manager, and I think they're quite comfortable with that. I think Dave King knows they're in good hands. So we shall wait eagerly and see. Hopefully they don't announce it too soon after we put out the podcast and make it look too red-faced.
Yeah.
So I will wait and see. Speaking of the Glasgow Rangers, it looks like Ryan Jack is going to get a call up to the Scotland squad after a very exciting week for himself being red-carded for headbutting somebody before a penalty was being taken for his own team.
Yeah.
What on earth is this boy on?
It's crazy, I know.
You could almost say he's Ryan jacked up about something sometimes. Don't write it in if you didn't enjoy that. Bit of a hothead.
He is, yeah. To be honest, I've not really been that impressed with him since he's went to Rangers. And
No.
to be honest, I still wasn't really that impressed with him at Aberdeen, so I didn't think he was going to be...
You're correct, Darren. He was actually
I didn't think he was going to be a great signing in the first place, really, but I would have expected... Like, obviously he's been playing in Scotland long enough now, and he's went to Rangers there. I would expect more from him, and it was a silly sending off the other day there, especially with the game coming towards the end and getting the penalty there. It was like, really, it really just ruined the game for them. And obviously Chris Burke goes up the other end and scores.
Hey! Well deserved from Steve Clark.
A
bizarre set of events. I think Michael Stewart was comparing it to that Watford playoff game years ago.
One end to the other, yeah.
A very famous face. I want to call it a scene because it's almost like a movie. But along with him, it looks to be Graham Shinnie, Ryan Christie, Kenny McLean. So they've just picked people based in the Aberdeen area to play at Pittodrie. Against Holland next month. But
I'm glad they've done that though.
I'd
rather bring in the youth and say, right, it's time to stop with obviously the older
Give
guard. The older guard, let's just say, right, that's enough. Put
you out to pasture. We'll make glue out of you now.
But I do think we need to start saying, right, it's time for Stephen Fletcher, Darren Fletcher, Scott Brown, so on. It's time to move on from them. Let's get a bit of the youth in, especially because we're not qualified, so we're going to have a few friendly games. Let's actually give these young guys a chance and see how they perform. They might not perform well, but let's see the ones that actually do well and the ones that don't.
I like Mackay's thinking behind it. Again, Holland could be quite a challenging task.
Could be.
But midfield of Shinnie, Christie, maybe not Jack, but someone like John McGinn.
Yeah.
Jamie Walker. I think the boy at Cardiff, the former
that'd be quite exciting.
Callum Patterson's coming back into the squad. So it's very much just that almost the Scotland B team that will become the A team when we eventually stop using these useless old sods essentially. So very exciting there. We look forward to see how that goes.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of any names that we might have picked instead. Motherwell playing well, not many Scots. Well, Chris Cadden, but maybe someone like him would be good to see. Write in if there's someone else you'd like to see in the Scotland squad.
Sure.
Apart from Antoine Niemi, who is of course Finnish,
not
Scottish. So we'll wait and see there. But also it's Halloween this week.
Halloween, yes.
Lots of kids parading out and about in some Halloween costumes. Very good one at the weekend. Some young lads. All the mascots at the Motherwell game this was excellent. Were dressed up. What a fantastic equation. And some wee boy was dressed up as Stephen Robinson.
Oh,
he
had
like the grey hair, the wee jumper. The boy looked
about it when you showed me. It was absolutely brilliant.
If you look, I think it's on the SNS Instagram page in Scotland. Check out the picture because it is sensational.
Oh, it's brilliant.
He does look really like him, which it kind of led me to thinking, who would it be good to maybe dress up as in the Scottish game?
Yeah.
Because it's not really done that much. I mean, you get your sexy devils and all that jazz all over your Instagram page this week. And all over everyone's Instagram page. But football managers not done so much, is it?
No, not really, no.
I think a few.
Don't know who you think.
I think a few ideas. Alfredo Morelos is a good one. You just
Morelos,
have Mohican and you put like a dummy in your mouth and you consistently fall over. I think that's quite a good one. Neil Lennon, you dye your hair.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Put some bags under your eyes, get some nice kind of contouring makeup there. Tracksuit and fold your arms for most of the time. I think that's a good one. Referees would be fun as well.
Oh, referees, yeah.
Because Willie Collum does look like a skeleton.
That's who came into my head, Willie Collum.
Or you could combine the term Collum and Willie and come up with what you may. I couldn't possibly imply anything there. Kashinya would have been a good one.
Kashinya would have been actually.
The clown nose, but that potential is sadly gone. In terms of footballers, who's like a funny looking footballer?
I don't know. It's more like English ones that come into my head. Like
Fellaini.
Fellaini would be
Fellaini's a good one.
Big afro and that.
Afro would be very distinctive. See, a few of them have like kind of nuts. There's not many of that kind of crazy hairstyles in that.
No, exactly. Yeah. No, not so much.
I think you could maybe dress up as Chris Sutton, just look smug in a suit or something, constantly rage abuse to Rangers fans and everyone around them. So there's definitely a few good ones to be had there.
Yeah, definitely.
So send us them in if you do dress up as a Scottish football personality.
Or suggestions.
think I would go for Ray McKinnon because I'd get to wear a nice cardigan.
Oh yes,
I do like my knitwear.
It's all about the
Just get
cardigans.
that receding hairline. I don't know if I'd commit to chopping my hair off. Probably Ryan Christie's got that good kind of curly hair.
He has actually. Yeah.
So a lot of my outfit would revolve around my hair. So that'd be something interesting for Halloween. Last piece of news: Celtic break their own domestic record. Blah blah blah. Anyway, moving on.
No, how many games is that now?
64.
Was it 64?
64?
62?
Depends on when you're listening to this stuff. But yeah, they've beaten their own domestic record, and does it mean a darn fluting thing? No. Are they going to go out
to
and
them? Yes.
Well, yeah, but are they going to go out and get pumped by Bayern Munich at Celtic Park?
Probably.
So it's not such a big deal, but do you think they'll have any more luck at Celtic Park this week, Darren?
I think it'll be a closer game,
Mm-hmm.
but I think for Celtic it's the point of view that they don't want to be out the game straight away, so they don't want to concede so early on, because obviously they were like 3-0 down against PSG, and you felt, oh well, that's the game away from them. I think they would want to try and get to half time either 0-0 or 1-0 down, and then obviously Brendan Rodgers can get them at half time and try and get them fired up for the second half.
Brendan Rodgers has come out and said, he doesn't like that park the bus mentality. And I can kind of see that in the way they play, but I also think that's very wasteful.
Sometimes you need to
against
do it,
really big teams.
Yeah.
And their defences look really shonky against the likes of Bayern Munich and PSG, and I just think it has to be so robust to get anything off these teams, because it just you cannot keep possession.
No. You're not going to do that, especially against like your PSGs and Bayern Munich. You're not going to be able to do that. So I just hope they really go for it in this game, because at the end of the day, obviously it looks like they're going to be out of the Champions League, so you want to try and go out with a bang against like the bigger teams, and this is the last this is the last big home game.
Yes.
So hopefully they can actually show up and give a good account of themselves, because they've got PSG away, so that's going to be, let's be honest, that's probably going to be
the only game that probably matters now is Anderlecht,
and then Anderlecht's obviously the big one for the getting into the Europa League, but hopefully they might be able to get something off the Bayern. It's a shame, in my head, it's a shame that obviously Bayern sacked Ancelotti, and see before they did actually look like a team that they might have got a point off of, but now they've brought back, I can't remember his name, but their old manager. Oh yeah.
I'm not doing that. Is it the guy in Storage Wars or something? On like Z-List TV. You ever seen these programs where they go about the
I've
storage?
I've seen them, yeah.
One guy when he's bidding just goes, yup. Sorry, it's like Z-List telly. If you're unemployed and in front of the telly all day,
I've seen that a couple
you'll
of
know what I'm talking.
Not enough to pick that up.
No. I know, I totally agree with you there. Speaking of the midweek ties, Celtic comprehensively thumped Aberdeen.
They did, yes.
At Pittodrie. 3-0 in the end. I watched the first half. It had been a long day. I'll sit down and watch my Aberdeen team do.
Yeah, I seen the highlights. I never seen the game. I was working that night. But.
My goodness, they couldn't get near them.
Yeah.
And what completely infuriates me, #fan rant, is Kelly get a draw off them at Celtic Park.
Yeah,
Admittedly, they have one eye on the Bayern Munich tie, but. Still, Aberdeen were just 3 or 4 paces off that game.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that's the team second in the league at the moment.
Well, yeah.
Well, they were equal. Such a big difference.
They were equal on points.
Yeah, aye.
Going into that game, they were equal top of the table, and I've never seen a bigger gulf between the sides.
McInnes, we were missing Christie. That's all.
Well, that was a huge problem.
It was a blow,
and I think McInnes has been quite dejected this week because he said, my best player is on loan from Celtic and can't play, and my second best player, apparently Gary Mackay-Steven, but I wouldn't entirely agree with that. It's like a Celtic, reject. So he's like, what do I do? But they set out quite an interesting formation, a bit more defensive.
I noticed that, yeah.
And it went completely to pot. And I must admit, they actually held out quite well, but the quality of Celtic's goals,
yeah.
I mean, it's only a top side that was going to score.
Totally, yeah.
I think Tierney. My goodness.
Tierney, yeah, he played well.
His first goal, the angle it comes in at is absolutely bonkers. And, as much as I don't like them winning all the time, just sensational. And the quality of the passes and things they put in was just...
Oh, it was brilliant. No, they did play well,
You could not deal with it. But for the Aberdeen players, I think they were wasteful in possession every time you have it. And again, it's like the reverse of Celtic Bayern Munich. You cannot be wasteful. And I think
definitely not.
It's a mentality thing. And I think with the players kind of coming out this week saying, I hope McInnes doesn't go. It's like, well, if you showed it up for him against Celtic, maybe
He
that
might
would
have
be the
not.
case.
Yeah.
And I know it's hard, especially the defenders had a really torrid time. Young boy, Scott McKenna in there with Carrie Arneson, and Carrie Arneson's trying to hold back the likes of Lee Griffiths, Musa Dembele. He's not got the pace.
No, definitely not.
I can see why that would be a difficult thing, but
you could definitely see the gulf between Celtic and Aberdeen in that game. The worry in of what you're saying is all the players on the pitch never really showed a performance that would make you think, we want to actually keep Derek McInnes or whatever. And obviously Derek was talking about how Christie obviously couldn't play, but at the same time you're thinking to yourself, is he trying to say they're a one-man team? So it's like
Christie could be a one-man
team.
Well,
yeah, he is a great player for them, but still at the end of the day you still expect more from the players that are there.
He ditched a few players. I think Scott Wright is someone who gives them something a bit going forward. Greg Stewart, sometimes as well. He still sticks with Steve. His strikers just aren't firing right now, and I think that was evident at the weekend against Hamilton. Not against Hamilton, against Ross County.
Yeah.
A sensational equaliser.
Oh yeah,
from that curly-haired love child, Ryan Christie.
It's brilliant, actually.
I think he's probably Scotland's best footballer in the Premiership right now.
Even when he hit the crossbar too.
That
was outstanding.
Miles out, 38, 40 yards. So the boy's a class. His dribbling is honestly, he's messy. But better looking, I think.
Yes, he really is.
I'll need to dress up as Ryan Christie for Halloween, actually. Yeah. Not many people might.
Get that Aberdeen kit on.
I'm looking up to it now wistfully. I just need to get his name on the back. So much better at the weekend, but maybe too little too late for Aberdeen, who might be losing their manager, and then the season's up in arms.
Who do you think they would get in if they lost?
I have no idea.
I was thinking this the other day. I was thinking, who would Aberdeen actually get in?
Because they get the money from McInnes, do they go for someone like Wright, or do you try and pinch like Stephen Robinson, or because I don't believe like Moyes. I mean, McLeish has a lot of history with Aberdeen. I can't remember the last time.
That'd be an interesting one, actually.
I can't remember the last time McLeish managed a team the size of Aberdeen. It's kind of predominantly bigger clubs. So that would be a real conundrum, and I think a huge factor in how much money they ask for. For Derek McInnes. Ross County a bit unlucky at the weekend, actually created a lot of chances.
They've done well. They're definitely looking better under Owen Coyle.
Slightly better. They're not getting the points yet.
They're not picking up a lot of points, but I think their play's a bit better.
Gardine had a good goal. Had Joe Lewis completely.
I was impressed with that, actually.
I think Gardine needs to score.
Lewis should have done better there.
He should have done more. I saw Jamie Langfield on Twitter was saying he gets tweets about it because every time an Aberdeen keeper does something wrong, you refer back to the original case, which I thought was quite amusing.
That's funny.
But I think Gardine needs to really fire in some more goals for Ross County.
Oh yeah,
he was top scorer in it would have been the first division a few years ago for them, and he's never got back to that.
No.
So I think that would be quite helpful. It's been the week of Hearts on TV, actually. Not Valentine's week, of course. It's probably more of a Halloween disaster for them, I guess.
Suppose so, yeah.
I watched a bit of the game at Easter Road and missed the flipping goal 3 minutes in from Simon Murray. There's a really good kind of a merchandise store. I think it's like at BT something on Instagram, check it out. But they've got a mug that says girls don't like boys, girls like Simon Murray.
Oh, is that right?
And I'm like, that's
brilliant.
That's actually quite good. I'm not a Hibs supporter, but I would quite like the mug.
Yeah.
And one thing we've been criticising Hibs for recently in the podcast has not been finding a striker.
Yeah.
And the Ginger Ninja he is
doing well,
seems
actually.
to be the solution. Even Martin Boyle getting a goal. More of a winger, I suppose, but getting the goal against Motherwell. So their striking problem seems to be
and that's
loosening
Stokes
off.
been injured, actually. A couple of games. So
I think
I've not really heard of him. Obviously, I've seen him playing against Celtic in the Cup.
I think they maybe just ditched him there.
Murray's
probably for the best.
Murray's done well, though. I've been impressed with him.
It's the gingerness.
Yeah.
Lennon recognises
That's
that a fellow ginger player will do well.
Need to have one.
Yes. They transmit the ginger vibes towards each other, and it just happens. So no, I always liked Simon Murray. I think we saw him.
He done well at Dundee United.
Yeah. Well, his hair matched the shirt. You see, that's what it was.
That's how you got that move to Hibs.
Exactly. Good on him. He was one of these non-league lads not so long ago.
Yeah.
Doing really well for himself.
It's like the Jamie Vardy of Scotland.
Very much. Yeah, pretty much. He is though, because he's quite fast if you think about it.
I suppose so.
Yeah, that's an interesting comparison. Actually,
It just came into my head.
Yeah,
thought I'd throw it out.
Aye. Hearts, on the other hand, will be a bit disappointed. Not really in that game midweek, were they?
No. It's I don't know what it is with Hearts. I think it's really Levine's sort of tactics.
Mm-hmm.
It's obviously he's very defence minded, but I just don't see. Yeah, they've improved obviously after Cathro, that disaster, but they have improved. But it's still, they don't seem to be the team that you think that are going to be in the top 6 challenging to actually get up the league. They've been better in recent games in terms of been picking up points, but that is against the smaller teams. When they actually play the bigger teams, they seem to just flop, really. Just
totally agree
collapse.
with that. They've just been nicking points, against the likes of Hamilton and St Johnstone. St Johnstone haven't won in 5 games and haven't scored in 5 games.
Yeah,
shows you what happens when Michael O'Halloran stopped playing well for them.
Yeah,
but a lot of the criticism, and we've seen this in the comments and things as well, is it's very much back to front football. You're playing out from the defence, lumping it up to Lafferty, which they've been having a bit of joy with.
Yeah.
And Lafferty does seem to be a quality striker. I mean, when he does get the ball lumped up to him, he can head it on, he can change the play, and he can shoot from quite far out, evident from that wonderful free kick.
That was superb, that was brilliant. Lafferty's definitely our main man.
Where did he come from?
Exactly.
I've never seen
I never thought of him of being like a free kick taker.
You see, he didn't celebrate though.
Yeah.
What's that? I mean,
some players do it, some players don't.
Rangers,
I do quite like it when players celebrate though, because at the end of the day, you have scored a goal.
It winds them up as well. Were you that much of a Rangers legend, Kyle? I don't think you were.
No.
Complaints as well that from Gary Cheshire, favourite commenter on the channel.
All right, yeah.
That Isma Goncalves isn't that mobile because of all the Portuguese barbecue food he's been having. So he's in there with other teeny boppers in their yoga pants and gym shorts and stuff, getting his Nando's. So start the hashtag Isma Nando's ready if he's playing badly the next time. But in terms of Hearts not playing well in the midfield, a few injuries there. Don Cowie, he was out, and Jamie Walker got injured during the Rangers game. And
they have got a few injuries, I suppose.
Lots of injuries, which I think led to the 16-year-old boy, I think Harry Cochrane, starting, and he came from the I can't remember what it's called, but I'm going to call it SFA Super Schools Project.
Right, yeah.
So remember how we went to school and there was a few lads there in the football academy.
Yeah.
He's from one of these schemes.
Right, okay.
Interestingly enough. I think the only success they've had with that scheme so far is one boy came on for Aberdeen against Celtic, which was a very much novelty substitution. And now this boy seems to be playing. So I don't know how well that scheme's actually worked out, but I've quite an inexperienced midfield. Young boy Callahan as well, who I think came from Wraith Rovers.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I know who you thought about actually. Yeah.
Maybe lacking a bit of experience. I know they were criticised for not having enough width either. So
I did hear Levine saying that Jamie Walker got injured and that was really the reason why we lost the game. But I watched a bit of the game, and I watched a bit of highlights, but I didn't really see much he done in the game. I think it was really just a excuse.
He's not really been light in the world of light.
Yeah,
and I wonder if his head's still there after the.
That's true.
The Rangers speculation.
The Rangers.
Well, that's the thing as well. Kenny McLean coming out this week and said,
I did hear that, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not signing the new contract.
A bit early to say that.
Well, yeah. But do we think that's a dead cert for him going to Rangers now?
Maybe, yeah. But in my eyes, I think it would just be Ryan Jack all over again. I don't think... Yeah, he's a better player probably than Ryan Jack.
He's more
but
attacking,
at the same time, he's not impressed me enough at Aberdeen to make me say, yeah, he deserves a move to Rangers or a bigger team. I don't know. I don't know. I think he's obviously wanting to get away from Aberdeen now, but whether he gets a move down to England, maybe that's what he's trying to do. If he's not going to get a move to Rangers, maybe he's just trying to keep his options open.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it did seem a bit strange to come out with that at this moment in time.
Very strange.
Especially because it's not even January yet.
No. Well, if we can sell him in January, happy days.
Well,
but I think, very much like Ryan Jack, he's on that downward trend in terms of his form. He's from like Rutherglen near Glasgow, so I don't know if there's a Rangers affinity there. Yeah. But then you would have to look very seriously at offers from down south. So interesting to see what happens there.
The only thing I was thinking about in that game was remember I was telling you about the attendance of Rangers.
Yes.
Good away support, 14,000.
14,000 people,
so,
yes.
At Murrayfield, obviously. So.
I think we were saying it was one of the better. I think it was better than some home attendances.
Well, yeah. What was it? I think I jotted it down here. But yeah, it was more than the Motherwell versus Hibs game, Dundee
6,
versus Hamilton,
probably 4,
and Partick versus St Johnstone. So
put together,
really
put
which
together.
Came to 13,700 or something like that. And then it was also more than Aberdeen's attendance, just because it was just like 13,900, so it was just more. But still, it is a bit scary that
I mean,
there's more Rangers fans away from home than there is 3 Scottish games put together.
I mean, it speaks to the difficulty these clubs have in attracting fans, and I think, you know, being a Rangers fan, there's a real attraction to it. You know, because we've all been there. I remember at primary school, I had the bright orange, you know, kit. I went there for a while.
Yeah, no, I've always liked Rangers.
But there's such just a huge community.
Yeah.
And I can see, and I enjoy watching, you know, like all the kind of Rangers lads on YouTube and things. You know, CJ Novo and stuff, to name a few. I enjoy kind of watching them because there is, you know, like for me being like an Aberdeen fan, for example, or you being a Barcelona fan, you can't go in to work the next day and talk about that game with the other person. Whereas if you are a Rangers or Celtic fan, you can, because it's such a broad thing. But very impressive. I think it was probably more than 14,000, because I did see a lot of Instagrams with behind enemy lines.
Oh right,
you know, in the Hearts end. So I think it was maybe a wee
bit more then. Yeah.
But I can see why that was.
I don't know what the attendance was at that game, actually. Let's check that.
I think you were edging 30.
Yeah.
I think it was edging 30. But which I guess, a point we forgot to mention earlier, my apologies, was that Murrayfield are preparing a wee presentation for being the new home of Scottish football. I know
I feel about that.
This is a very divisive issue, because I think a lot of people out there don't like Hampden very much. But what would your thoughts be on it?
Well, my thoughts are that I think Hampden is a bit far away from the pitch, so on, and sometimes they say the atmosphere isn't great, but every time I've been at Hampden, I've always enjoyed it, and I always thought that there has been a good atmosphere. Plus, I always look at Glasgow as more a footballing city over Edinburgh. Obviously with Celtic and Rangers being in Glasgow too. But I always look more to Edinburgh being the sort of rugby side of things. So obviously links in with Murrayfield, home of rugby. But even when we went to the Murrayfield
for the Aberdeen Hearts game,
Aberdeen game, it did feel that obviously it is a wee bit more cramped than what it is at Hampden. So the seats are, it's a silly thing to say, but it does feel it's not as.
I mean, listeners, if you knew how broad shoulders John Brown, you know, other pundit, it's a real issue.
But no,
just getting him through doorways is massive. He's not even henge. It's just like. I kid. He goes to the gym all the time.
He's gotta love that guy.
But yeah, it was certainly much more cramped than Hampden.
Yeah.
And what I do like about Hampden is you don't actually have to walk up that many stairs to get to the top.
No.
It's all just down. I've never. Oh no, I was once in the hospitality.
You never said.
Enjoyed that very much. And the funny thing about being in the hospitality was because you got to look down. It was Falkirk versus Inverness Cali in the cup final. And when you're in amongst it, you're like, oh my goodness, this atmosphere is so raucous. We're making so much noise. And sitting over there, you're like, nah, you're not making as much noise as you think you are. So I think there's a contribution, but I like, you know, they say that the seats are too far away from the pitch, but it evokes that old style of how Hampden used to look, and I think there's an atmosphere that comes with that. And Hampden, there's more to it. Like, Murrayfield's quite bare bones. In that it is a stadium, and then there's like stuff around the stadium.
That's true.
You know. So yes, it holds more people and stuff, but there's not like an integrated like pie stand, or you've got to go out into the vans.
Yeah, that's right. So I just felt I never enjoyed the experience as much football wise at Murrayfield than I did at Hampden.
I would agree with that.
And the only other thing, I know they have been discussing it too, hadn't they? If we never actually had a national stadium. They were talking about rotating it around the just football stadiums. I hope they don't do that though. I'd rather it was at Murrayfield than doing that.
Well, you look at the attendance for Scotland against was it Lithuania or Slovenia or something, was like 20,000.
I think so, yeah.
So say if Aberdeen get their new stadium built, which they fluffed, Hearts, Hibs, Aberdeen, arguably Kilmarnock have 20,000 seat stadiums that they could host like B-rate.
No, they could, yeah.
Internationals, but A, why would you want to travel to Kilmarnock? B, Aberdeen's kind of far away for everybody, and then how do you pick between Hearts and Hibs? And then this is the same issue you pointed out to me about Rangers or Celtic. Being at Celtic Park or Ibrox, it's kind of strange.
It wouldn't be the same, I don't think.
And then Murrayfield as well. The pitch is so large.
It's massive, yeah.
That again, you still are quite
good dugouts there too. Massive dugouts.
The thing is, everyone's like, "Oh my goodness!" The managers, Murty's like, "This is the biggest technical area ever. I don't know how I'll get used to it." Well, I'll tell you how you get used to it, Murty. You stand outside your technical area and still on the baseline. What is the point in these technical areas?
Oh, it's crazy.
Forever standing outside them. So I would vote no personally.
Yeah, I'm the same.
I think a lot of people would disagree, but. Not Murrayfield. It's no right. It's just not right.
Maybe like it for a change, but I don't think in the long run it'd be worthwhile.
No, I totally agree with that. Any other exciting games really this week? I think we have to commend Steve Clarke and his Kilmarnock side.
Yeah, we have to give him recognition for that. He's done well. I consider he's only been there for how long's that? That's not even been that long. Actually.
But you must be thinking, are Rangers and that kicking themselves?
Well,
the likes of Owen Coyle and Steve Clarke. Steve Clarke might be kicking himself, thinking, I could have had the if I'd waited 2 more weeks, I could have had the blooming Rangers job. No offence to Kilmarnock, offence intended. I think he could have easily managed Rangers, and he sorted Kilmarnock out so well defensively. Yeah, that's exactly what the issues are. So bummer there, but I guess good on Kilmarnock.
Just how it happens sometimes.
Yeah, unbelievable scenes at Rangers, and the boy Jordan Jones equalising against Celtic.
He's that's right. Yeah.
Tricky, I think Liverpudlian or something like that.
Yeah,
really exciting player. I like him.
No,
could be a January target. I see some of the Hibs boys. I think Blackburn are looking at like Paul Hanlon.
Oh, are they?
And John McGinn's been looked at by some Championship sides.
So I did hear he was being looked at. Yeah.
Their midfield could crumble. January's going to be a really interesting time because with Louis Moult playing so well recently, he must have attracted a lot of attention. Yeah. So I think surely a lot of English teams will be sniffing about.
Yeah, I'd expect that. Yeah.
Well, so we'll wait and see. That'll be very exciting.
Will be.
Yeah. Congratulations to Hamilton on a great win against some 8-year-olds trying to defend for Dundee.
Shocking. Really bad.
So I'll be interested to see how McCann deals with that because he's quite stern.
Yeah.
I think when they're losing.
McCann really needs to get a few results, I tell you. There's only so long that he's going to be able to stay in that job if they don't start picking up results.
Well, they're now bottom of the league, I think.
Bottom of the league now, yeah.
Because everyone's like, Hamilton never play football. They've accumulated points.
Yeah, they have.
They're sitting 7th or something like that. And
that was with like 10 men for the last 15-20 minutes too. They still conceded a goal.
You see those last few goals?
I did, yeah. Oh, absolutely shocked.
Like 3 of them were... If you haven't seen it, it's utterly bizarre.
Oh, it's terrible.
It's nearly as bad as actually the Falkirk game of the weekend. That was one of the Halloween horrors actually on the list as Falkirk's horrendous defending. But we'll get to that a bit later. We'll get to it now.
We'll get to it now.
Yeah. Get to it now. Scottish Championship this weekend. I guess the star fixture was St Mirren against Morton.
Yeah.
In the Renfrewshire derby.
Yeah, the big derby. Exciting. Big one.
I think we probably predicted that on last week's podcast. But since our predictions master isn't here, I can't remember.
Not here, yes.
I think I got it right. Oh no, darn, I think I said St Mirren 2-0. Anyway, game was 2 each. Drawing at the Paisley 2021 Arena in front of a good crowd.
Yeah, I think it was 5,500.
5,500 people. That's pretty decent. So Stephen McLean was refereeing that one, the controversial Rangers Hibernian referee. And more controversy. Booking Gavin Riley for what was a penalty.
Oh, is that right?
And then not awarding, I think, another penalty for Morton and stuff. So he didn't have a good day. But 3 goals in between 65 and 72 minutes.
Was that right?
So
I never heard that.
In 7 minutes there were 6 goals. So if you watch the highlights, and excellent highlights by the way on St Mirren TV's kind of YouTube page. I was very impressed. Good commentary.
I'll need
Very
to check
good
that out.
commentary.
Actually.
Very unbiased. I was very impressed. If you just skip forward to about halfway through, all the action happens, effectively. Goals weren't too spectacular. But I thought it was interesting because it was a tie between the sponsors Millions and Infinity.
Oh, yes.
So, I thought, which is better, Millions or Infinity? I mean, you'd obviously rather have an Infinity car.
Yes.
And Infinity is more than Millions, but,
Uh-huh.
I thought that was a funny
That was
comparison to have. So, a 2-each draw there, probably a fair result for both.
Yeah. Usually that's what you get in these derbies, don't you? It's usually close games.
It didn't really fire up until that 65th minute, and then it was just like, get all the goals. And then, Morton getting that equaliser a bit later on. So, well done them.
Yeah, that was a good score.
Queen of the South beat Falkirk 4-2 at Palmerston, which looks a bit more like a construction site, to be honest. Not much of a football stadium scaffolding there, but still in better shape than the Falkirk squad.
Well, yes, yeah.
You'd have to say.
Couldn't be hard.
If we thought the Dundee defending was bad, this is probably
Takes it to
level
another
to it. Stephen Dobby couldn't believe his luck for the first goal. It was a bad back pass. And then, I can't remember the boy's name, but he chipped it over.
Yeah, I noticed it. Yeah, I've seen that this morning.
The keeper and like 3 other defenders and made it look terrible. So, Queens really couldn't believe their luck. But their front line now is Stephen Dobie, James McFadden, and Championship kind of stalwart Derek Lyle.
Derek Lyle, yeah.
And I'm thinking that's probably the best forward line in the Championship.
Yeah, it's good going for the Championship.
That is the MSN.
Good. Yeah.
So it would be Derek. So it would be Lyle, MD, LM, DLM, MLD. We're so close to a good an acronym.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We'll come back to us. Anyway, we'll try and fit another QoS player in MLD, MDL. So it's like something. That's
we'll think about that.
It's like something defence league. We don't want to be going there.
But it's worrying times for Falkirk.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
I really look at it now. I think they're in line for this League One playoff.
I tell you, my biggest disappointment is that there's not been much sort of a turnaround since Paul Hartley's came into the job.
No, it's just looked the same.
It just looks the same, yeah. Because usually what happens is when a manager takes over, you get some sort of response. But yeah, they've had a couple of 0-0s, draws, so on. But usually you get a couple of victories when a manager comes in and you start seeing the performances at least getting a bit better. But I've not really seen that. What I've seen of Falkirk since he's appointed.
Yeah, the players still look very much the same, and they are being left behind. I mean, Inverness won.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Inverness are starting to pick up the points. So they're actually doing what I thought Falkirk might have done.
Well, I think the target really is Morton in 6th. I think are the lowest team right now that are really competing for the playoff places.
Yeah,
every chance Inverness could catch them, but obviously teams like Dumbarton aren't really going to be pushing for that kind of thing. And Dumbarton are now fairly comfortably clear.
They're pretty, they're definitely stuck between Dumbarton and Brecon, Falkirk.
So sad times. They could be doing the announcing over a League One playoff tie come the end of the season.
Can only get better, I suppose.
Fingers crossed. Brecon nearly grabbed their 3rd point of the season, as a late penalty set up an interesting finish with Livingston. So that would have been très embarrassing. 3-2 they won that game. To still sit 2nd in the league. So
Livingston have been the surprise package. Yeah, they started off well in the Cup at the start of the season, but they have pushed on from there, to be honest.
But then 3-2 against Brecon, who are pretty mince.
I know, but Brecon turn up in certain games, they're at the bottom of the league, but
Breek is what I say.
Well, yeah. But
I think they're doomed.
They've done well this season, Livingston. Yeah, that wasn't their best result, I suppose, but at the end of the day, still got the 3 points. So, they'll be happy with that.
True, can't grumble. We're big fans of them here at Sofamanager. So wait and see. Women's Scottish Cup final there at the end of next month, by the way, at the Almond Vale. Or the Tony Macaroni Arena. So wait and see there. I think it's time now to have a wee quick quiz.
Oh yes, quiz. Yeah, go for it.
So hit that music. So, This week, we were supposed to have two players here. But,
Yep.
Darren, you'll be my subject.
Okay.
Loyal
yes.
and interested, of course.
What we got this week then?
This week, sadly not Halloween themed. I didn't have time. What I've done is I've gone to social media.
Right,
Facebook,
okay.
Twitter and Instagram. I did this in the middle of last week, so Wednesday, so the figures are correct as of then and are liable to change. And you are to guess, higher or lower, who has the higher social media following.
Okay then. Yeah.
So the first one is on Facebook. Who has more, I think, likes I've
More
gone
likes.
for. More
Right.
likes, not followers, because there's that whole mad system now. Sofamanager or Ranger? No. Rangers or Celtic? Higher or lower?
So.
On Facebook, who has more
So
likes?
who has more? I would go for Celtic.
You'd be correct.
Yeah.
Do you think it's a lot or a little?
I thought, well, no, I wouldn't think there'd be a big difference, but
Rangers.
recent times has probably had an impact.
Rangers at 580,482. Celtic at 1.6
Wow, I never expected
million. 1,664,698. So that's over double.
that. Yeah, I must say I never expected that.
I guess that must be a Champions League thing of.
I suppose so. Yeah, people following
Brand recognition and stuff. But I really thought Rangers would be much closer.
I thought it'd been close. Yeah,
Because
That's quite surprising.
I do know more Rangers fans, but obviously not on Facebook. So don't know the Twitter numbers. So next one, some rivals here. Intercity.
Alright,
On Instagram,
yeah.
who has more followers, Hearts or Hibernian?
Hearts or
More
Hibernian?
followers, Hearts or Hibernian. The
Oh,
big
I'd
derby
expect that to be
this week.
close actually. I'll go for Hibs.
Ooh, you'd be correct.
Correct, yeah.
17,300 for Hibernian,
Right.
12,300 for Hearts.
Really?
Yeah, so not as many Instagram followers. It really tells you
Yeah.
a lot about the demographic.
It does actually.
Quite interesting. So
Yeah.
Twitter war now between big rivals who play this weekend,
Right, okay.
Falkirk and Dunfermline.
Ah, right, okay.
Dunfermline are quite a big social media following.
Yeah.
So who do we think? Falkirk?
I'm going to go for Falkirk.
God's sake.
Is that free at free? Yes, it's in there.
This game's far too easy. 19.1k for Falkirk, 16.8 for Dunfermline, so just
Right.
behind. Never seen 19,000 people at Falkirk Stadium.
No.
That is malarkey. Further rivals, we'll talk about Dundee Football Club and
Dundee?
Dundee United Football
Okay.
Club.
Right, this
So this is on Facebook now. So
Facebook.
I'll just clarify as if that helps in any way,
That,
shape,
that
or
makes a
form.
big difference.
It
Paul,
does.
right? I need to know this.
It does.
Uh,
No, you can't see through my page.
No,
Although I've just shown it your way. So that was clever.
Dundee United wouldn't know.
What do you think, Dundee United or Dundee?
Go for Dundee United.
You're right.
Okay,
47,000 to 11,000 for Dundee. So that's quite a big.
That is quite big actually.
I guess there's a bit more heritage with Dundee United in their European runs, but
Uh-huh.
interesting.
I
that they
suppose Dundee United's got a bigger history in terms of European.
still like a championship
Sorry.
team versus a Premiership. team.
Yeah.
So I've now gone for players. Last week's podcast, I talked about how unbelievably starstruck I was seeing Lee Miller and Jamie Langfield together.
All right, yeah.
Two former Aberdeen stars. So on Twitter, who has more followers? Former Aberdeen striker Lee Miller. Well, Middlesbrough, I guess you could argue as well. Or
yeah.
former Aberdeen, now St Mirren goalkeeper Jamie Langfield.
This is a tough one actually.
This is tricky.
Uh,
It's very unique knowledge. That's why it's.
I think I'll go for Lee Miller.
Ooh, first one you got wrong.
Oh,
14.1k for Lee Miller.
right.
Jamie Langfield, 24.3k.
Really?
So Jamie Langfield has more Twitter followers than Falkirk, which is bizarre.
That's interesting.
I should have looked at
Suppose
Aberdeen
playing
now.
at Aberdeen's helped him.
Yeah, must have done. Lots of interesting tweets from those guys. I recommend you follow them.
Yeah.
I think at Jam Lang and probably at Lee Miller Scotia, I think his Twitter handle is. So there you go. Our last one is on Instagram. Who has more followers? Fraser Aird or
Right.
Jamie Walker?
Or Jamie Walker.
Of Hearts fame, Fraser Aird, formerly of
Yeah.
Rangers,
Aye.
now of Dunfermline.
Dunfermline. Never really
Very-
worked out at Falkirk.
Very different, aye, very different ends of the spectrum here.
I will go for. I'll go for Jamie Walker actually.
Jamie Walker has 23,000. Fraser Aird has 27,000.
27?
How buzz? See when I saw
That's
that,
a shocker.
I was like, Fraser, Fraser-san, how do you have so many social media followers? Absolutely crazy. I initially thought it must be the Rangers thing. Surely.
Because he gets in the national team maybe.
Well, Canada is what a lot of people pointed out to me.
I never thought about that.
That could be a deciding factor as well. But 27,000 followers.
27, yeah.
Very popular. I only followed him recently, so so I follow that This quiz was brought to you by Sofamanager's social media feeds. Go there now for all your most interesting Scottish football news and reviews. Yes. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Mixcloud, YouTube.
It's all about that plugging.
So have to. It's got to be done.
That was interesting though, I enjoyed that.
Yeah, you did well there, Dan. I think you only got 2 wrong.
I got 2 wrong.
Out of 6.
Bit gutted with that last one. I never thought about the Canadian connection.
The Canadian, the Rangers, I gave you the clue. So I think we'll move to sunnier shores now.
Alright, yeah.
That's the Strictly Come Dancing music. I need a good Spanish theme or a European theme song for our European football coverage.
Yeah, we'll need to get one of them. Not just one of these ones that are in the charts at the moment. No. We need to get something.
Or reggaeton lento.
Spanish. Well, yeah.
I don't know if that would make sense though. I think John did point out that Dario G France 98 song.
Alright, yeah.
But I see that's a bit generic.
Uh-huh.
Funny story
was.
Suggestion though. I was looking because I do I'm the assistant stadium announcer at Falkirk, so I do all development league games, which we will talk about on this podcast someday. But I was looking for a final song just before they come out to get everyone pumped up, a real football song, "Freed from Desire" or that dung 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 dung.
Oh yeah,
it's the names, the White Stripes.
Yeah, White Stripes. Yeah.
I was thinking, what on earth? I'm really struggling here. I've used quite a few, Baby Give It Up. I know I've used that. Never crossed my mind to use My Girona.
Right.
The theme tune of this blimmin' podcast, which I use week in, week out.
You can't use that. It's all about Sofamanager.
Well, we're using it because I've been
actually, you could use it to put no.
I'm kind of attached though, because it's every time you hear that dung 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 dung. You expect the good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Well, maybe our listeners don't, but I certainly
you do.
Yeah. So, if anyone's got any good suggestions for a footballing playlist, do leave them below. I'm open.
Help you out.
Yes, very much so. We're actually starting this week with Will Smith, Get Jiggy With It.
All right, yeah.
Classic. It's a tune. Absolute
That is a tune.
Anyway, sorry Darren, I've interrupted your Spanish coverage enough.
I've not got too much to cover off. I'll give you a quick update on how things are going.
It's been a while.
It's been a while, yeah. The biggest surprise package of this season though is Valencia, actually.
Oh. Are they in Catalonia? Just outside, maybe.
Just they're outside, yeah. But they have been the surprise package this season. They are actually sitting second in the league.
What?
Believe it or not.
What?
This is a team that came. You need to remember, this is a team that came 12th last season, right?
Dear me.
So it is amazing the turnaround that they've had. They had a 2-1 win at the weekend against Alaves. Simone Zaza with another goal.
Is he not top scorer?
Top goal scorer, yeah, out with Lionel Messi.
I think there was that comment in the week.
Yeah, he said if Lionel Messi gets the award, I'll be asking for the award because it's Lionel Messi.
Yeah, La Liga should have another award excluding Lionel Messi. It's a fair dues. It's quite funny.
I did that. But he
was rubbish at West Ham.
Oh, he was, yeah.
And just found his feet, so good on him.
No, it's worked out well for him at Valencia. I think because he's the main man at Valencia.
Simone.
That'd be a good tune though.
Get on it, Valencia fans.
But yeah, he's done really well there, to be honest, even since he went there.
Mm-hmm.
Last season you could see him starting to become the main man for him, but this season he's been scoring the goals. Also Rodrigo, the other striker, he's been getting a couple of caps for Spain lately, actually.
Is he part of the Barcelona?
Benfica.
Oh right, okay.
Ex-Benfica.
Okay. Name sounded familiar.
Yeah, but he scored a penalty at the weekend, but he's been doing well, so they two up front have been really good for them. Plus they've made a good couple of signings in the summer, so on. So yeah, really a team to watch this season. Still undefeated this season too.
No European football.
No European football, no, because they came 12th last season, so they've not got that to worry about. So, but I tell you, I think they'll get 3rd or 4th this season, which, considering how they done last season, they were really struggling last season. The amount of times that I was talking about Valencia, another defeat, and really looking bad, don't know where the club's going, and it's all turned around. They've done well. So it'll be interesting to see if they can keep that up. and see if they could even get third spot this season. I can see Real Madrid obviously getting second, and the way it's going at the moment, Barca at the top. But Atletico Madrid, they've had a lot of draws this season, and even at the weekend there, they had a 1-1 draw against Villarreal.
Was that at home?
That was at home, yeah.
So they're maybe getting used to their new surroundings.
Well, yeah, I think that's the thing. It's like the first season sort of issue. It's an amazing stadium, and
it's always very busy.
It's always good.
Much
attendance.
like the Paisley 21 Arena, 2021, sorry.
Yeah,
when Morton come calling.
But yeah, they've got great crowds, great support, obviously. But it is a bit of a difference playing there to the Calderon. So yeah, I think they're still trying to get used to that. But even in Europe, they've had draws against Karabag. So
I watched that.
Did you watch that? Yeah.
Aye, and they just couldn't.
No, that's how they played a lot this season. They're still undefeated in the league, but they just don't. They're not getting as many wins as what they've had in previous years.
They could have been beaten by Karabag if
they
Karabag had a striker.
A striker, yeah, that's what I thought. I seen a bit of that game too, actually.
Yeah, they just couldn't finish, and I can understand why. And they were making fun of Karabag on a few of the Instagram pages and things, saying, "Oh, look at their ultras," and they turned up with like not banners but like pieces of paper inside Polly pockets.
Oh, did they? Right, okay.
No, it's not exactly the big displays, but at least they're trying.
Yeah, at least they're trying.
They're trying.
It's all about that effort.
Yes.
But Villarreal, they've actually been struggling a wee bit this season, Villarreal. But with that point, funny enough, it took them 6 in the league. Carlos Bacca getting the goal for them. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how teams like Villarreal get on this season, because teams like Real Betis, they've been playing well this season. Levante had a good start to the season. They've got a point at the weekend there against Eibar.
That's a pretty good result.
So a good result, yeah. It'll be interesting to see if Villarreal can actually keep it up and get a European place this season.
Yeah.
Plus, with Seville probably going to drop out the top 4, they'll probably come, say, 5th or 6th. So obviously you still got your Real Sociedad, so on too. So it'll be interesting to see if Villarreal can actually get a European spot. Sadly, it looks like Athletic Bilbao
my team,
aren't going to be at the races this season. I can't really see them getting a top 6 finish or that, which they usually do.
Yeah.
But every so often, I think you were saying this the other day, every so often they don't actually get a European place.
They're at the mercy of how the wine was flowing on that summer's evening in the Basque region, and who was produced by the Athletic people.
But yeah, a couple of aging players there, I suppose, and I think it's only so long they can really keep Adarif there. I think he's 37 in February or something like that.
He's the Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
He is, yeah.
Or the Kenny Miller.
He is superb for his age, but I think it's only so long he can keep that level going.
Probably.
So Barca did get a 2-0 victory at Bilbao at the weekend. Lionel Messi and Paulinho.
My namesake, of course.
Paulinho, yes.
Done well for them.
He has done well for them, yeah.
Better than Ousmane Dembele, who cost...
That's right. Well,
it's like 4 times as much money.
He's had his injury, let's be fair.
Yeah, I know, but still, statistically, Dan.
But still, he has the goals, Paulinho, yes.
Paulinho, Paleta, all good players, just saying,
But the first goal was actually really good for Barca. It was a bit like the Classico goal. We never had Sergio Roberto running through midfield and crossing it to Jordi Alba, but Jordi Alba, the same sort of cross into the middle of the box, and then Lionel Messi just hit it in. But it's a good score for Barca, because it's always a hard game away at San Mamés. We've always talked about it. It's always been a game that we've focused on, because you like Bilbao and I like Barca, so it's always a game you tune into.
I liked them the one year that they had a miracle victory against them, and then ever since then they've not really beaten them. So it's kind of been.
They're always good games though. Good. So that was a good score for Barca. Barca doing much better than what I expected this season, top of the league, still undefeated too. But it is Real Madrid that's been the disappointment this season. Today they actually, day of recording, Girona actually beat
mystery.
I know, exactly. You need to keep that mystery. Girona actually got a 2-1 victory over Real Madrid today.
My Girona, never gonna stop giving it. That would be brilliant.
So that is a bit of a shock.
Do you think they know about my Girona in Spain?
I'm not sure. Probably with Sofamanager the ball, yeah.
True. We do have some Spanish listenership, actually.
Yeah.
More than you would think.
But yeah, so that was a surprise score. Real Madrid, I must say, I would never have thought I'd have seen the day that Girona would have beat Real Madrid this season.
They've been drinking my Coronas when they've been going to play football.
Maybe,
by the sound of
yes,
things.
yeah. Isco.
I'm going to have a whole song, by the way, about Girona, Corona, Verona.
Verona, yes,
Verona I talked about last week. Other
ones.
No Sharons though. No Sharona.
Isco seemed to be the only man really that turned up on the day for Real Madrid.
Isco.
Yes, he was the man creating the chances for Real Madrid, and he did get the goal.
Yeah.
It was Ronaldo with the shot. The goalkeeper did fumble it, and it went out to Isco, but Real Madrid just once again, it was 1-0 at half time.
Yeah.
Once they went in at half time and came back out, it seemed to be Girona were the team that were going to win the game. They really went for it, and they wanted it more than Real Madrid. I think that's how it came across anyway.
See, maybe the team to watch. I know you were saying the best footballing team.
Yeah, and they're actually scoring goals at last now, so that always helps. It was quite funny in the first half. They hit the post, both posts, and I was thinking to myself, this is typical Girona. That they always come so close, but they never actually get over the line. But funny enough, they come out in the second half and they win 2-1. Stuani getting a goal, remember, ex-Middlesbrough.
Oh yes.
He scored today, and Porto was the other one. Porto.
Oh.
Porto.
The whole team.
I know, exactly. Porto scored another goal for them.
Unusual name.
And then there's still a couple of games to come this weekend, Las Palmas, so on. But that was basically it. That's the update. Barca's at the top of the league. Valencia second. Real Madrid's underperformed this season, but they have had a few injuries. Gareth Bale still injured.
I think his time's up, really, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I'd be surprised if he actually stays at Real Madrid beyond this season, because the amount of injuries he has, when he's there, he actually is really good, but when once he's injured, that's where the problems come in for Real Madrid. I think another issue that Real Madrid's had this season is that they sell Morata. They sell, they never sell him, but they loaned out James Rodriguez.
Yes.
These guys did come off the bench last season and scored the goals. They've not really got the players to come off the bench this season to have the impact that they did.
Especially Ronaldo's been a bit off the boil.
And Ronaldo, he's obviously had his suspension at the start of the season, so he did miss 5 games. But even since he has been playing, he's popped up with a couple of goals. But
too worried about all these awards ceremonies.
But yeah, so it'll be interesting to see how it goes. But yeah, that's your update.
Sounds good. Thank you for that, Darren. We missed that. And then, as usual, to round off our podcast, sadly, John not here this week. So
yes, our prediction man.
I feel so wrong, but yet so right.
I'm sure he'll give us an update how bad we're doing.
He won't listen this far. If his voice is not, he's a very egotistical man, John Brown. If his voice isn't there, he's not interested. Let's be honest, if he's not involved, he is not interested. Anyway, so we've picked out the predictions for this week's game, so there's no random Cowdenbeath encounters at the bottom of League 2. Don't worry
John
about
Brown
that.
will be gutted.
He will be. So the first one this week is Rangers Partick. I am going to say a 3-1 victory for the next weekend's game. What are you going to say, Dan?
I'll go for 3-0.
3-0.
3-0 to Rangers.
Glasgow Rangers is at Ibrox, that's true.
Yep.
I'll leave you to guess Falkirk versus Dunfermline.
Falkirk Dunfermline. I think I'll go for 1-1 in this game.
Ooh, 1-1. See, it's a derby, but I don't know what to call it, because it's not Fife, it's not Falkirk, it's
just a derby.
Dunfalkirk, I don't know.
I don't know, I think I'm being kind to Falkirk.
The thing is, so they did get that result against them in the Cup.
Yeah.
Under Alex Smith, though, so a different set of circumstances. I think Dunfermline win 3-1. Just the defence is that bad.
Yeah.
Your
Livingston is
homework
next?
club, yeah.
Homework club. Livingston versus Inverness. Yes. I think I'll go for 2-1 Livingston.
I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. We very rarely get draws, though.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I very rarely pans out. Man City, Arsenal. Darn, why do I have to guess this one? 2-0 Man City.
2-0 Man City. I'll go for 3-1 Man City.
That could be anything.
That could be, yeah.
I saw, what was their score at the weekend?
3-2, I think.
3-2,
yeah. 3-2.
And I saw the guy that did the Super 6 that got all 4 scores right.
I noticed that, and it was just that game. It was like a goal of difference, wasn't it?
He guessed 5 goals. He thought it would be 4-1.
Oh, is that what it was?
Not 3-2. crazy, isn't
Crazy.
it?
It's crazy.
So Darren, give us what your thoughts are on our next prediction game, Chelsea versus Man
Chelsea
United.
versus Man United. I'm going to go for 1-0 Man United in this one.
Ooh. I don't know. I'm thinking of that game they had against Roma and how exciting that was.
And my thinking for the 1-0 is that I can see Man United getting a goal and then just doing their usual part of the bus. But then Chelsea are good at home, so it'll be a close game.
I think because of that part of the bus mentality, I think Chelsea will take it 1-0. And I think it'll be a really disappointing game again.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. These games get plugged up so much.
It's Mourinho's just a ruiner of big ties. Unfortunately.
At least it's actually a half decent Super Sunday for once.
Very exciting.
Man City, Arsenal, and Chelsea versus Man United.
So we'll have our eyes glued to that.
Yep.
Along with all of next week's Scottish football action, which we'll talk about on next week's Sofamanager podcast, available on Mixcloud and on YouTube. So thank you very much for listening from me, Paul.
Thanks for listening, everyone, from Dan.
And don't forget to have a good evening, a good afternoon, and a good morning.